Well, we're at the end of the semester here. It's time to start tackling the final exam. So let me, based on some comments and everything, let's go ahead and make sure that you have a pretty good feel for what you're trying to accomplish here on this one. Again, what we're trying to do is I'm trying to get you to look at data, make a recommendation to the boss on the best forecasting technique that you should use, and add some other descriptive, prescriptive, and prescriptive type analytics in this. But to get you going, here's the data. Looks like this. You have year and a quarter and the number of vacations that were sold. All right, so we're trying to forecast the future, how many vacations are there. Problem is that to get you up and rolling, you need to make one of the first things is a trend line. So what I'm doing is leave your regular data alone. Again, as an analyst, keep one set of original data just completely unchanged. Copy this, bring it over to a new sheet, and then you can see here in this new sheet what I've done is I've added another column, and in this new column I have gone through and I've relabeled this. This is 2010 quarter 1, ... all the way through the end. Once you're in this position, you can easily go in, highlight your data. We're going to insert just a time series plot. And so from this time series plot, it says, there's some ups, there's some downs and everything else. And you could kind of guess that vacations may have some sort of seasonality to it. There's a video in there for you now to do seasonality. However, from here, this gets you going. It helps you understand what a time series plot would look like for vacations. Okay. Another thing that does come up for you is it asks you to go in and calculate the average and the standard deviation for each quarter. What I recommend to do that, and there are several ways to get at this. This is another example of you have all the data. Now you just need to be able to manipulate it to tell you what, to give you the information about it. This is a descriptive technique. So I highlight my data. I'm just going to go sort it. But I want to sort it, let's just sort it by quarter. Okay? Because if I sort these by quarters, I'll have all of my quarter 1 and all of my quarter 2, so on. Let's just do a sort. And it comes up and says, okay, here's all my quarter 1 data. Here's all my quarter 2 data, 3, 4. You get the point. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say average is what? I'm going to put in this one, standard deviation here. This is going to be quarter 1, quarter 2, 3, quarter 4. I can get the average by just using my formulas. Let's take the average of all items that were in quarter 1. You could do this in a pivot table if you are, if you wanted to go do a pivot table. Nothing wrong with that at all. Average of all of my 2s. You get the point. STDEV, this is just a sample. This is for standard deviation. DEV.S, I'm just doing quarter 1 here. Equals, again, sample. And I'm just doing quarter 2. Okay, you get the point. The average for quarter 1 is this, average for quarter 2 is this. Standard deviations are here. You would do the same thing for 3 and for 4, and that'll help you move you forward as well. The last thing that I want to make sure that we go over is when I am looking at doing my time series plot, especially whenever I'm doing a linear regression. If I took and highlighted and go back to what we initially did, added in a time series plot, I'm going to add a trend line. I just want the equation, I just want the r squared. it gives me an equation, okay? My R squared is really tiny here. Again, this is for deseasonalized. This is for the regular data. This has not been deseasonalized. There's a video in the instructions now for you on doing seasonalized. But what I want to show you here is that this equation says that the number of vacations equals the quarter times 0.477. And you're like, oh my goodness, how do I take and multiply the quarter to figure out what it's going to be 2 or 3 quarters in the future? It's not easy to take these numbers and multiply, right, to think about what's going to happen out here in the future. In that case, what I recommend is, instead of doing quarters like this, start with your first quarter, second quarter, all the way through your last quarter. You're doing your linear regression again. We're not expecting this to look any different, right? Matter of fact, to see if I can find the other, oh, where'd my other chart go? There it is, it's up a little higher. Pull this up. I don't expect this to look any different. The only thing that I have done is changed this number down to a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm going to just get rid of that line that it threw in on the bottom. Let's add my trend line. On the trend line, I don't really expect anything to be different here either, right? I didn't make any manipulations to my data. So it's all there, it's just linear transformation. My R squared is exactly what my R squared was before. My equation's exactly the same as it was before. However, here's the usefulness. If I want to look at the quarter that's going to happen 2 units in the future, right? If I want to do quarter 50, now the way that I have set my axis up, 2 quarters in the future would be quarter 50. I can now just use this equation that my number of vacations should equal 0.477 times 50 plus this. Again, just a technique, make it a little bit easier for you on how you can predict out into the future. Hopefully these things get you up, they get you rolling. I did add some more videos for you for this week for the final. So let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, good luck, and I look forward to seeing your products.